again, and we have Kathy Akers, no stranger to the station. She is a real estate agent with Fathom Realty. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. You got the ladies today. We're going to talk a little bit about one of my favorite aspects of buying a home or looking at homes, and that is staging, Kathy. When you walk in, it's like clothes. If you can see the clothes on somebody, it makes you want to buy more than them just hanging on the rack. So if you stage a home properly, they're so beautiful. And to me, it makes you want to buy the home. But anyway, let's talk about it.
Well, sure. And we're getting into that spring market season, so I thought this was some quick tips on making the house a little more welcoming, not necessarily, but welcoming, but also giving the buyer a chance to see themselves in the house as well.
Right.
So those are some things that we're going to talk about. So as always, I don't come up with these off the top of my head, but I do occasionally have my own list. But I do read a lot of articles, and this is from one of those articles that I've read. As I've talked about in the past, your first impression is online. Having really good professional photographs is always a plus.
Oh, yes.
The next showing you have is when they drive by, pop a color, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So when they're actually coming up to the house, let's look at that front door. And do you have a welcome mat?
Oh, yes, yes.
How old is it?
Well, actually, I just bought one.
Okay, so you're good.
My other one was old, Kathy.
Yes. So that's that is that first impression coming up to the door. Polish the brass if you have brass, that kind of thing. Get the cobwebs down.
Right, just the little things
that you
don't think about.
That's right. You walk past them every day, or maybe you don't use your front door that often. But the buyers and their agents are going to use that front door. So look at that front door, and adding a great little welcome mat if you don't have one, or is yours getting old and worn, replacing that.
Right.
That gives a great first impression.
Absolutely.
One of the big things that we always talk about is decluttering and
Yes.
replacing. Coffee tables, side tables, those kinds of things, that's where things pick up and clutter. If it's like my house, sometimes it's the kitchen counter.
Yes, yes, I raised my hand.
Those areas. So walk through if it's magazines and those kinds of things. But what else do you have on that coffee table? I
know. All you need is one simple little, I don't know if you want an arrangement or whatever you have.
That's right.
Everything, and men, Kathy, tend to put little things on things.
That's right.
And yesterday at my home, we talked about that. Okay, get this off.
That's right. And if you have kids, I know it's hard to contain things, but having a central location in the family room, wherever, as simple as a basket or one with a lid.
Yes.
Or something like that every evening before you go to bed, have the kids put all their toys in, or
Absolutely.
Putting everything in that one container.
That's right.
That even goes for pets,
Put them in there. Sometimes they are bad. No, I'm kidding.
No, but I mean, we have a new kitten at our house.
I know you do, yes.
And so, I walk through, and he has been notorious for pulling out, he has a little basket under my kitchen desk, but by the end of the day, he'll have 5 or 6 things thrown throughout the house.
We have a basket too for
And
ours.
so, don't forget about those, because those are things that you can help to, heaven forbid somebody step on a tennis ball or something walking through the house. So make sure you're thinking about the pets as well. How about artwork?
Oh yeah.
You know, walls can be difficult. You know, if you've just painted, think about not putting, you know, all those family photos and things back up.
Right.
Maybe one nice piece of artwork.
Right.
There's a lot of things you can do very simply without getting too expensive. But maybe look at picking up one piece of artwork that is
Absolutely.
matches your tones for your room.
Exactly. You don't want to clutter your walls either.
Right. And
Yeah.
especially if you've just painted them, you don't want to go back and put holes in all the walls
Right.
you've just freshly painted. So think about that. You know, you can go completely without, so they can really think about, you know, how it's going to look. Or, like I said, one nice piece of artwork, you know, it just kind of helps
Yes.
things stand out. Bedrooms and bathrooms, that's always one of those things that, especially looking, you know, people are looking at the size and that kind of thing. Again, you know, decluttering, you know, the dressers and areas, those are the things that hit the catch-all when you come in the evening, you know, the
Absolutely.
keys, the watches, those kinds of things. So maybe having like a little container on there.
Yes, absolutely.
Or even if you have a drawer, you know, specify one little place in the drawer that all of that stuff comes off the top of the dresser into the dresser drawer, so you're
Yes.
not cluttering the top. Again, you know, flowers, something like that. But how about, and I've talked with clients about this before, is having a set of bath towels or linens that, you know, just you put out for when the
Yes.
buyers come through. I know kids' bathrooms, you always have the bright colors and that kind of thing. Maybe pick up a solid instead of the little patterned
Right.
ones.
Yes.
And maybe have that set aside so you only use it when you know you're having a showing.
Right.
You know, just having something that, you know, coordinates, even as simple as getting just white bath towels, you know, that that hotel linen
Fresh,
look.
new towels, white. Oh, they just look so. I love that.
You'd be
It's inviting.
That's right. You'd be surprised at that just one little thing in the bathroom, how that brightens up the bathroom. And again, you know, just keeping things very simple. Remember, you're packing to leave. You want to leave, so let's
Right.
go ahead and start packing some of that stuff away.
When I'm looking at houses, I just love to go look at houses that are, I don't know, for sale. I just like looking at houses. And the first place I look is the bathroom. I love to look at bathrooms, and when they're staged, you know, and we're talking about staging, an empty house, you just can't sometimes envision.
True.
But when they're staged and you have all these things, and it's just a world of difference.
It is. Light. You know, some of our rooms that do not have a lot of natural light, you want to make sure that you're adding additional lamps, whether it be
Right.
a lamp stand or even a table lamp.
I like lamps.
Opening blinds. You know,
Yes.
if you've got the Venetian blinds, go ahead and turn them open. That brings in some light. You know, people also want to be able to see, you know, I have a lot of buyers that will turn them and open them just to get an idea of what they're looking out at from their room.
I want to see the view.
That's right.
From their room.
So, you know, either open them completely up or just turn them open so you're getting that light in, but it also allows them to then to take and see what they're looking at when they're looking out the
Absolutely.
windows. Getting all that, as much natural light in a room, it helps brighten it up.
Yes, absolutely.
How about the kitchen? That's one of those other
Oh,
areas
yes.
that we always look at. Replacing cabinets can be very expensive.
Can be.
So what about either taking and refinishing or
Yes.
even painting?
I was going to say, can't we paint the cabinets
That's
instead
true.
of replacing?
That's right. Now, what if you have natural wood cabinets that, and you don't want to, I hate seeing somebody come in and paint natural wood cabinets.
Yes.
Some people do. But you could also look at just having them lightly sanded and refinished.
Yeah, just refinish them.
And that's, going to be a lot cheaper than replacing all those cabinets.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And think about when you're doing that, it's not just the facing, but it's going to also include the back of those cabinet doors.
That's right.
Inside the cabinet, not so much.
Right.
People are not looking at that. But you want to make sure that you don't forget the back of the those cabinet doors when you're doing that. Again, one of those areas that you want to take all those appliances, toasters, coffee pots, those kinds of things that you use. But
Right.
if you're not using that mixer or that blender or some of the other things that you have on the countertop, when was the last time you used them, or how often do you use them? Is there a pantry to put them in? Something that helps get a lot of that clutter off your kitchen counters.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm always saying to myself, when I walk in people's houses, their counters are just completely just nothing on them. It just looks so nice. I can't do that. I have too many contraptions.
That's true. One of the things I have in my kitchen that helps is I have an appliance garage, and that's one of those cabinets that goes all the way down to the counter, and it closes down like a garage.
Right.
That's where my toaster and those kinds of things slide back out of the way.
Oh, I
that
have to
leaves
look
my
at-
counter open. So, if you are replacing counters or cabinets, that might be
Right.
something to think about. Is there a
Absolutely.
way of moving those appliances out of the way? You can't always remove everything, but just remember those one of the things. And I'll just throw out that, if you're like me, first thing in the morning and you may be running out the door, you don't always put the breakfast dishes into the dishwasher.
Right.
You may leave them in the sink. Go ahead and get in the habit of either quickly washing them or putting them into the dishwasher so you're not leaving your sink filled with dirty dishes.
That means I have to get up at 4:30 instead of 5 o'clock.
Not
on my
quite.
days that I do the morning show. No.
No, but it is something to think about. Just
It
getting
is.
One of those things to help keep that nice, clean feeling.
Absolutely.
Going natural, bringing the outside in. Flowers. Those kinds of things. If you live at the beach, shells, seagrass, driftwood, tropical flowers, those kinds of things. But here in our area, live plants, having fresh flowers out of the garden if you do have
Right.
a garden. But think about that. Using what you have locally can help bring that natural feeling in. But those are some of the things that you can think about now. Like I said, we're getting into that season where the spring buying, people are getting their tax returns, so they're looking at making those
Right.
those purchases for the spring. We're starting to get warmer days, and so people are going to start thinking about moving. So,
Well, that was a great topic. That is a great topic. And we all need to be reminded of these things or told these things, because a clean, and I don't mean dirty, your house is dirty, but I'm just saying clean as in things off your counter and things, decluttering and things like that. It makes you feel better. It makes everybody feel so much better, Kathy, to have your home like that. So anyway, I do encourage you to take this advice, because I think it'll make us all feel better to have our house in order.
Right. Well, you had a topic you wanted to talk about.
I do. Briefly, I just want to say the DMV's coming. We're all happy about that. And some of the folks that I run into said, are we going to have enough housing? Kathy, can you address that?
Well, that is going to be a concern. Right now, the rental market is very tight, so there's not a lot of rental properties out there. And we are starting to see more houses come on the market. So,
Okay.
but remember, we're talking about 2020.
Right.
That's also when we're going to have Triangle Tire, Corning,
Right.
all of those
Wow.
all of that hitting. So, now is the time to start preparing.
Well, our community needs to get as many of these folks, from whether it be from Corning, Triangle, DMV, as we can. I know some are going to have to branch out into the outskirts of, I don't even know, Roanoke Rapids, Halifax, Wilson,
And,
Raleigh, Wendell, not Raleigh, but
we are going to probably pull from those areas for
Right.
Triangle Tire, but we are going to have some people relocating to the area.
Yeah, we need to keep them here.
That's we'd love to keep them here. So we talked about offering things for the people from DMV, and I think the daycare idea was fabulous, because that is a great opportunity for somebody that's
Absolutely.
looking at doing that, is having something along North Church Street,
Yes.
or is it still called Centura Highway?
I think I'm not sure.
I think it's
haven't
gone
heard
back to.
that. Yeah,
I think it's gone back
that.
to. I think it's gone back to North Church Street. But there's opportunities along that area.
And I think the contractors are going to get to work.
Yes.
I think you're going to see a lot of building because of this. But as you said, in that close proximity of the DMV building, I think we're going to get a gas station. I think we'll get a restaurant. I think we'll get maybe even a daycare.
There's some great opportunity, because the other piece to that is, we have right across from there is the sports complex.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, that offers a great opportunity for somebody that does have a daycare, if they're looking to pick up additional income, by having drop-in services on the
Right.
weekends for those kinds of things. But the housing in particular, I know if people are looking to relocate here, we really need to start looking at
Absolutely.
the growth. I know we have got a few builders out there that are building speculatively. They're building ahead of time,
Sure.
hoping that somebody's going to purchase. But 2, maybe 3 builders is not going to take care of
Right.
the influx of people that we're looking.
Wow,
So,
that's exciting when you think about it.
that's true, and again, we do know that they're going to be also looking outside of our area. Even if they're looking at being closer to the Raleigh area,
Right.
looking that's in the Spring Hope area, that's a great point between Raleigh and Rocky Mount.
is.
You're talking about 20 minutes into Rocky Mount.
Yes.
So that means maybe 30 to 40 minutes, depending on where you're wanting to go into Raleigh. So, what a great point that is.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm sure, builders are going to also be looking at, Zebulon, Wendell, and Rollsville, those areas as well.
That's right.
But, we need to really start looking at our area between Spring Hope and Nashville coming into Rocky Mount. But we
Absolutely.
also need to look at the area between Rocky Mount and Tarboro. That's a great
do.
opportunity for areas to be added as far as housing. That's one of those things we really do need to address over this next year,
Yes.
and we've Clint and I have talked about in the past. So.
That's right. So you'll keep us abreast of what's going on in the building market and housing market, as far as all of these businesses, industry, all of this coming. So anyway, Kathy, appreciate you being on this morning. We enjoyed it, as always. You really do have some great information for us, and do appreciate you coming in every other Tuesday to do this. So we'll be right back on the Don Bullitt Chevrolet Morning Show right after this.